Things appear to be getting a little bit tougher in the shooting industry for the charlatans, for the I mean, I think crazy people isn't that's not unfair to say. What I'm talking about is Instructor Zero and kind of the turn he's taken the last few months. Now, you may have caught the live with Matt. I made a video saying, like, hey, man, this guy's a zero. And that was really my feeling after watching the hour-long live with Instructor Zero. Now, Instructor Zero, you probably are familiar. But if you don't know, he made a series of videos, I think years ago, where he was just, it was like, I don't want to say carnival tricks with shooting, but it kind of looked like that. We're shooting really aggressively, really fast. And it's obvious watching the videos these years ago that he would, take a shotgun and go like bomb, 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 and like he would just post the one where he hooked up and hit 3 targets in some insane time. I thought those videos were fun. Truly, I like that stuff. I think that's exciting. I think that's some of the funnest stuff on Instagram. And I think he kind of went away for a while, or maybe I wasn't paying close attention, but now he's back and trying to fire up a new teaching business. And I put a video up on Instagram, like 15 seconds of Instructor Zero training with resistance bands, and dynamic ballast. He's called. He's got weights hanging off of himself, and he's going around, transition over here, pull the gun in, transition over there. It is kind of crazy. I put it up on my Instagram page last night. The comments are insane. But I think one comment that really highlights what's going on here is it's crazy that we live at a point, technology-wise, that we get to see out of their wheelhouse BSers working in real time. It used to be a successful BS artist, you had to write for a gun magazine, blow up guns with reloads, lie about unethical long-range hunting shots, and write fan fiction about robberies. Not anymore. Make a bunch of meme videos doing stupid shooting stunts, and 5 years later, you can get paid to teach mumbo-jumbo lessons with barely any shooting. And you know what? I think that's a pretty fair assessment of what Instructor Zero's turned into, where he's just like, I mean, I made a comment on Facebook that people shouldn't listen to him. I posted that on his page. That's not a very nice thing to do, but this is kind of how I feel about it. But his reaction to like that and other things has been unhinged. It appears that Instructor Zero is kind of melting down. He's like arguing with people. He's really mad about stuff that I said. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, here's what I said. This is how world-class shooters don't train. Never listen to this person. And that's true. And it's at the point where it's like you're watching some of the stuff that he's doing, and it's like, this is like crazy. Like, this is not helpful to have resistance bands during your drive. Like, nobody does this. This isn't helpful. And the reaction to that from him and a few of the fanboys has been unhinged. Let me read it to you. So I wrote, this is how world-class shooters don't train. Never listen to this person. And Zero got on. He says, Ben Steger, in many years on the field and in social media, I have rarely seen such a negative example of a man, an athlete, and a professional. People like you are absolutely the worst example there is in this industry nowadays. As a trainer, you are simply embarrassing for how profoundly ignorant you are regarding the subject you teach. The fact that you have won sports titles certainly does not make you a trainer and certainly does not give you knowledge of a subject that can only come from years of study and qualifications that are not given at the shooting range but at the university. As a professional shooter, you know you're broke and you try in the worst ways to beg for a bit of visibility in the hope of being able to pick up a few bucks from those who know even less than you. You simply understood that there's a segment of people on social media who love drama and arguments, and not being able to gain visibility in any other way, you threw yourself into it, giving rise to embarrassing theatrics. Now, stop here. This is, like, reading this, it's just like, there's got to be some projection. Like, it's got to be. Is he like needing money, needs to do classes or something? Like, people have stopped giving him stuff? Like, I don't know, but this, and what he's doing is a theatric. I mean, it's using weights to transition the gun around to dramatic music. Like, I mean, maybe there is a problem here that he's not getting paid anymore off the social media following or whatever. Yeah, I don't think he's ordering staccatos just for a shits and grins. I'll put it that way. That's why you have the worst audience in the industry. That's what he said. And you know what? I want to talk about something that Lucas brought up when I did a live with Matt. Kind of moderated a live between Scott Jedlinski and I, and Lucas brought this up because Lucas was watching the live. He's just like, "Hey, isn't it interesting? Like the Ben's followers are not in here making nasty comments. Scott's followers are," and that was actually true during that live. Like the people that follow me, I mean, from what I could tell, they wanted to listen to the live and hear what was said. Like, I think I have some of the most intelligent followers, some of the most keyed in, the guys that, really want to get good at shooting or whatever. They're not really sucked in by marketing hype so much, like that kind of thing. I think a lot of those people follow me. To be honest, I think I have some of the best audience in the industry. Like, I really disagree with what Zero just said. Anyway, you have to be really desperate to come to another professional's house and write, "Don't listen to this person." I've always heard you criticize everyone by calling yourself toxic. I don't really understand what he's saying here. But in reality, I've never heard you make a technical criticism once, supporting it with an explanation that makes sense, but always and only sterile things, provocations, or criticisms. After all, this is normal because you're an ass on the subject, and therefore you can't go beyond provocation or sterile criticism. You had to invent the term toxic. I don't think I invented that term, to try to give a different definition from asshole. Now, if you don't mind, go back to being the queen of the shooting range and the fake toxic with those who follow you, because here you only get bad news, and this is the maximum amount of time and visibility that I've decided to give you. Fair enough, Zero. I've decided to give you a little bit more visibility. And he's kind of freaking out on other people. Like, one guy wrote, "This is bad, real bad, stop." And this isn't somebody that I put up to this. And Instructor Zero's reply was, "The only thing is bad is the level of ignorance, arrogance, superficiality there is in this industry. People like you act like a teenager fanboy of a rock star, refusing to use the brain, are the reason why this industry, we don't move forward. People like your queen of the range are the reason why this industry, there is so much ignorance and false information. Stop being a fanboy and start to use the brain. Open a damn book and study, and you will see who here is lying. Now you can go back to your queen." No, and Instructor Zero is interesting to talk about because you look at that, like what he does, it's theatrics, and then the instruction is like completely crazy. Like this, like, people don't train this way. This is unhelpful, to say the least. And then he'll get mad if anybody says anything. Like, I think the training that he's doing is genuinely destructive. Like, it is a total waste of time. And people look at that and it's like, "Oh, that's how training's done." It's like, no, that's not what you want to do. It's very interesting to see this. I think, I really think, I think there is a sea change happening where people are starting to, like, they just will call this stuff out. And you can't just sit in a position of authority or perceived authority and just say whatever you want and have it not be challenged. Like, this is a lot different than when I started shooting, where all we had was like magazines, like, "Oh, what Masayub says, like, that's gospel." And now it's just like, no, fuck that dude. Like, no one pays attention. So I think that's a good thing, that people are far more critical and discerning. And it's not good for people that are just marketing with internet theatrics. As Zero pointed out, he's projecting that onto me. That's what he's doing. I got a message from Tactical Italy official. I talk to this guy occasionally about the Zero situation. The people in Italy who actually do military stuff really don't like Zero for this reason. Please remind to Mr. Zero when he told companies in the first few months of his existence in the industry that he was a former Special Forces operator, being accompanied by people dressed in black with briefcases in hand. Zero was born as a ridiculous character. He lived inventing what a real operator would never do, and he will die ridiculous. It's time to get rid of this stupid, arrogant, falsely humble, and above all, harmful character for the community. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I used to think that was funny, like the theatrics stuff, and it's like watching what he's putting out instructionally. It's like, no, Instructor Zero, he's destructive. Like this is not helpful, and yeah, I have no. I think that stuff should be called out, and he should go away. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Instructor Zero melting down, very exciting.